The night comes slowly. It doesn't fall, it softens, like a whisper against your skin, or the hush of snow resting on rooftops. You are lying still, your body sinking gently into the surface beneath you. The sky stretches above, wide and velvet, deep as thought itself. You breathe in, and the air is cooler now. You breathe out, and something inside you loosens, just a little. Above you, stars bloom. They do not rush or pulse with urgency. They simply exist, ancient, luminous, calm. Each one a tiny echo of something that burned long ago. You gaze upward and feel small in the best kind of way. Your heart begins to slow. Your breath mirrors the rhythm of distant light. Somewhere deep inside you, a quiet switch begins to turn. This is the beginning of sleep. Your brain has a sky of its own. It holds storms and breezes, flashes and stillness, waves of electricity, moving in patterns both known and mysterious. Tonight, those waves begin to shift. You are crossing the shoreline from wakefulness into sleep. During the day, your mind buzzes with plans, decisions, and noise. Beta waves hum like a city awake at noon. But now, something gentler rises. Alpha waves begin to stretch their arms. They are slower, softer, like music heard from a distance. They open the gate. Soon, even these waves will give way. Theta will arrive like water over stones, and then Delta, deep and slow, the ocean of dreams. But for now, you are at the threshold, the moment when the mind lets go of edges, and everything begins to blur just enough. You look up again. One star is missing. You're not sure why you notice. Maybe because you've stared at this part of the sky many nights before. Maybe because your body, quieter now, is open to smaller things. Or maybe it's the hush it left behind. It's not dramatic, not a falling star or a flash, just absence. A little pocket of space where light used to be. You wonder, can a star forget to shine? The stars above you are not just lights. They are time travelers. Each one sends light across distances so vast that your eyes receive it only years, even centuries after it began the journey. When you gaze up, you are seeing the past. Some of the stars you see have already gone dark. They no longer burn, but their final messages, their light, are still on their way to Earth. You see the echo, not the source. It's possible, then, that the missing star, the one that forgot to shine, is simply ahead of its time. It may have gone quiet years ago, and only now has its silence reached your eyes. That, too, is how the brain works. We experience things with a slight delay, a half-second between sensation and awareness. We live in echoes, in flickers of what just was. And sometimes our own thoughts take time to arrive. The sky is not just above you. It is inside you. Your brain mirrors the cosmos more than you know. Neurons branch like galaxies. Signals flash like stars. Memories pulse like constellations. Scattered, ancient, guiding. When you are fully awake, your mind races across the firmament, connecting stars into stories, solving puzzles, weaving identity. But now, in the softness of night, the stories begin to untangle. The brain becomes less of a spotlight and more of a lantern, spreading light evenly, washing the landscape in moonlight rather than sunlight. This dimming, this letting go, it is not a loss. It is a return to stillness, a return to rhythm, a return to the space where healing begins. You begin to feel weightless, not like flying but like floating. The body softens from the outside in. Your limbs feel as if they are no longer being held up by muscles, but by memory. Your mind, too, floats. Thoughts drift like leaves across a lake. They come, they go, and you do not chase them. You are not trying to sleep. You are allowing sleep to arrive, like a tide, like dusk, like the slow dimming of a once bright star. The missing light draws your gaze again. You imagine it far away, a quiet sphere wrapped in forgotten fire, spinning slowly in the dark. Maybe it did not forget. Maybe it chose rest. Maybe even stars grow tired. In the silence of its absence, you feel something familiar, the longing to stop shining all the time, to simply be, to dim without disappearing. You and the star are not so different. Sometimes rest feels like fading, but it's not. It's simply returning to yourself. Your brain agrees. In this state, your thalamus, the part that filters sensation, gently closes its gate. It turns down the volume of the world. Touch, sound, and light become whispers instead of bells. Your prefrontal cortex, the voice of planning and structure, quietly steps back, and the default mode network, the orchestra of memory and self-reflection, begins to hum more slowly, like the softest background song. This is not shutting down. It is tuning in. The air is cooler now. The sky remains vast and listening, and still that empty space where the star once was. You do not fear the silence anymore. In fact, you welcome it. The stillness of that star speaks louder than any sparkle. You wonder, if that star were still shining, would you have noticed the others? Perhaps. Only in the quiet do the smaller lights come through. And so you breathe, in and out. You drift toward that quiet pocket of sky, the one that no longer glows, but still speaks. You let your mind rest beside it, not needing answers, only stillness. And as your body grows heavier, and your thoughts grow lighter, you feel something gentle rising, a question not yet formed, about light that flickers, and darkness that teaches. You're still lying beneath the sky, and the star that forgot to shine no longer feels like a mystery. It feels like a mirror, a reflection of your own need to dim, to fold inward without fear. The night deepens. The air wraps around you like slow-moving water. Your breath flows in steady tides, not rushed, not held, just there. And now, you begin to wonder what happens to the brightest stars when their light is no longer enough to hold them up. Some stars shine so powerfully that they burn through their fuel faster than others. They live brilliant, brief lives. But when the core can no longer sustain the fire, gravity takes over. The star begins to collapse. This isn't chaos. It's not violent in the way we often imagine. It's a falling inward, an agreement with gravity, a surrender to something deeper. You may think of black holes as devourers, but they are not monsters. They are memories wrapped in silence. Picture it. A star, enormous and luminous, finally reaches the end of its fusion, its fire. Without outward pressure to resist gravity, it begins to fold into itself. Layer by layer, it implodes. The outer shell collapses onto the center, and space itself is pulled inward. What's left is not gone. It is compressed, concentrated, hidden behind what we call the event horizon, a boundary where even light cannot escape. But here's the wonder. Inside, time moves differently, space bends, and the rules you know become soft around the edges. It is not destruction. It is a new form of presence. Your body knows something of this inward folding. Every night, as sleep deepens, you fall away from surfaces. Your awareness narrows. Your thoughts become heavier, more condensed. You are not disappearing. You are transforming. Sleep is not an absence. It's a protected place, a horizon your conscious mind cannot cross. And deep within, your brain begins to reorganize itself. During deep sleep, your neurons do something remarkable. They replay the day's moments, sorting, pruning, reinforcing. It's called memory consolidation, but it feels, to the sleeper, like stillness. like silence, like falling inward. And this falling is necessary. It is how you become whole again. You breathe in. Gravity is not just something that holds your feet to the earth. It is the quiet force that shapes stars, moves tides, and gives weight to dreams. Even now, as your muscles soften and your eyelids grow heavier, gravity is working. It draws the blood gently downward, slows the heart to its nighttime rhythm, and lets the bones rest without resistance. You are not fighting it. You are surrendering, not in weakness, but in deep cellular trust. Consider this: if gravity can shape galaxies, perhaps it can shape rest too. Perhaps your letting go is not laziness, but alignment. Perhaps like a star, you are not failing. You are forming something new. A black hole is not the end of the star. It is the beginning of a new physics, a new way of being present in the universe. It exists, invisible, heavy with memory. It bends space, not to trap things, but to remind the universe that even silence has mass. So now you fall inward too. Your thoughts become smaller, more distant. The voice inside your mind softens its edges. What was sharp became round. What was loud became low. And you move deeper into the quiet. You do not need to solve anything right now. You do not need to shine. You only need to be. Rest is an act of gravity. Let it hold you. Your heart slows again. And beneath it, your brain's glymphatic system, the cleansing river of the mind, begins to flow more freely. Like a hidden stream, it washes away molecular debris gathered during the day. It's not dramatic. You don't feel it, but it is the brain's way of healing. This system works best when the mind is quiet and the body has surrendered. When you fall inward, your brain rises to cleanse. Paradox, perhaps, but it's true. In your stillest moments, the greatest work is done. The black hole still turns, spinning silently across the velvet sky. You cannot see it, but you feel it. Its existence teaches you something precious, that the absence of light is not the absence of meaning. That mystery is not something to fear, but something to rest within. You are learning to hold that space, to trust what cannot be explained, to allow yourself to become heavier, not because you are broken, but because you are real. And in the dark, without fanfare, a quiet realization arrives. You too have an event horizon, a boundary that marks the edge of thought, where the conscious cannot follow. And beyond it, dream, not fantasy, not chaos, but a space where your mind becomes unbound, where memories speak in color and metaphor, and the self reforms. It is not a fall. It is a journey through your own gravity. The night continues. You lie beneath the sky, where stars are born and stars collapse. And still, the star that forgot to shine feels close. Not broken, not lost, just folded into something deeper. And you, with each breath, with each quiet surrender, are folding too, not into nothing, but into rest. Somewhere inside your sleeping mind, there is an old cartographer. You don't know their name, but they know yours. They move slowly, not with ink or compass, but with soft pulses of light and electrical breath. They draw no borders, but they build meaning, not with words, with feeling. Tonight, while your body lies perfectly still, the cartographer begins their quiet work. You have entered the world of dreams, but not as a visitor, as a traveler. Here, nothing looks quite like it does by day. Time stretches and folds like silk. People you know may wear other faces. Familiar places twist into unfamiliar corners. This is not confusion. It is a translation. Your brain is taking what matters and letting it speak in its own language. Dreams may seem strange, but they are not random. During REM sleep, the stage where dreams bloom, your brain lights up in specific, purposeful ways. The amygdala, where emotions live, becomes highly active, giving dreams their vivid, often emotional color. The hippocampus, your memory's librarian, sorts and files what you've seen, heard, and felt. And the prefrontal cortex, the rational voice, grows quiet. This silence is not a failure. It is an invitation. You are no longer bound to logic. You are allowed to feel freely, to imagine without judgment, to wander through thoughts without fences. Think of it this way. Your daytime mind is a road, straight, focused, efficient. Your dream mind is a river, curving, reflective, full of hidden depths. One moves with purpose, the other flows with wonder. You need both. Tonight, the cartographer lets the river flow. Imagine yourself in the dream. You walk through a vast city made of your memories. The walls breathe. The floor is made of music. You open a door, and your childhood is waiting inside. This isn't illusion. It's integration. Your brain is linking feelings to images, stitching moments together so that you can carry them forward. Dreams are rehearsal spaces for life, places to test fears, replay joys, heal sorrows that never found words. In one moment, you might be flying. In the next, you are simply walking. But the wind knows your name. Even your fears become softer here, seen from a distance, wrapped in symbols instead of sharp edges. Neuroscientists believe that REM sleep helps with emotional regulation. It's like a gentle therapist, sifting through the day's emotional dust, softening the weight of what lingers. When you dream, you are feeling things you couldn't face while awake. And in this quiet processing, healing happens, without force, without effort, just unfolding. Now picture the brain again, not as a machine, but as a night garden. Synapses bloom like fireflies. Neural paths weave and unweave. A map is forming in real time, not to navigate the outside world, but to understand the inside one. The cartographer walks among these gardens, tracing new paths in silence. They know which roads to close, which memories to tuck away, which patterns to reinforce. So you wake feeling more whole. And you drift. You are a soft sail caught in a deeper wind. You need not direct anything. The map is forming without your input. It is being drawn for you, not by you. What a relief to rest and still be. Perhaps, tonight, you dream of a staircase that never ends, or a house with too many doors, or a voice speaking in a language you somehow understand. These are not puzzles. They are reflections. Your mind is not trying to confuse you. It is trying to show you something. Through metaphor, through symbol, through felt meaning. Just as a poet distills truth in a single line, your dreaming mind distills emotion in a single image. There is something sacred about this, because while your body sleeps, your spirit still explores. You step into shoes you've never worn. You visit places you've never been. You speak to versions of yourself you forgot existed, and in doing so, you remember what it means to be vast, to be unfinished, to be beautifully complex. This is not escapism. It is a rehearsal. It is a resolution. It is renewal. Each dream makes the waking world more livable. Each dream strengthens the emotional muscles you'll use tomorrow, when kindness is needed, or patience, or courage. And when morning comes, even if you forget the dream, this work remains inside you, like the soft residue of a night rain, invisible, but nourishing. Now, in the final seconds of REM, the cartographer rolls up the map. Not because the work is done, but because the next cycle calls. You drift into deeper stillness. The stars above remain silent. The world beyond your eyelids grows even softer, and somewhere in your mind, a map waits, made only for you. You are still sleeping, still floating, but something in the night has shifted. You are no longer drifting alone. Somewhere in your dream, at the far edge of it, there's another presence. Not a face, not a name, just a warm sense of someone. Feels like being remembered. While you sleep, your mind, even now, it is not an island. It is a bridge, a living electrical bridge that remembers how to love, even in the dark. Science once thought sleep was a closing off, a shutting down of the social brain. But that's not what we know now. Your brain, while sleeping, still processes the emotional echoes of others. The laughter you shared earlier today, the face you saw in a photo, the person you miss but haven't spoken to in years. Each of them becomes a thread, woven into the fabric of your dreams. The anterior cingulate cortex, which helps you understand others' feelings, remains active during REM sleep. The amygdala, which responds to love, loss, fear, and tenderness, lights up brightly, almost more so than when you're awake. And oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, continues its quiet drip through your bloodstream, encouraging trust and connection, even while you slumber. So when you dream of someone, it matters, not just as memory, but as relationship maintenance. Your brain is strengthening ties, restoring empathy, softening sorrow, or quietly rehearsing forgiveness. Picture it this way. You and someone you care for are each asleep in different places. You are both dreaming. Your dreams are different, maybe wildly so, but the emotions you process may bend toward each other like two trees growing in different soil, but reaching toward the same light. It's called interpersonal emotional processing, and it doesn't stop at bedtime. Even when you're unconscious, your brain is sorting your social world. It replays conversations. It softens hurtful words. It amplifies kindness. It rehearses what you might say next time. Sometimes your brain even dreams about strangers, faces you don't remember seeing, but you have, briefly, in a crowd, a passing moment, a glance. Your brain stores them anyway, not because they matter deeply, but because they could, and because connection is always a possibility, waiting to bloom. You've likely had the experience, dreaming of someone you haven't thought of in years, waking up feeling a quiet kind of love, or sadness, or closure that you didn't even know you needed. That wasn't accidental. Your dreaming mind know what your waking mind avoids, and it holds onto the people who've shaped you, even when you're unaware. There is comfort in that, because it means you are never truly disconnected. Even alone in a quiet room, even while sleeping in stillness, your inner world continues to echo with others. Some are still with you, some are gone, some were never even real. Characters, voices, stories that touched your emotions and left an imprint. All of them walk gently across this sleepwalking bridge. Your body may be still, but your heart still reaches. And the people you've loved, they don't leave so easily. Their voices may change, their images may blur, but their emotional blueprint remains in your brain, waiting to visit you in a dream when you least expect it. Now think of how sleep helps you carry love forward. Even grief, that heavy and quiet companion, softens during dreaming. The brain uses dreams to revisit memories and gradually file them away, not to forget, but to make space for living again. In one study, people who dreamed of lost loved ones reported feeling more peace in waking life, not because the pain vanished, but because the dream gave them a place to meet again, even briefly. Tonight, perhaps, you will cross that bridge too. Maybe you already have. Maybe you're walking beside someone now, a parent, a friend, a version of yourself from long ago. You don't need to speak. They understand, because sleep knows how to translate emotion without words. And when you wake, you may not remember, but some part of you will feel lighter, softer, woven back into something whole. You are not dreaming alone. You are held in a web of invisible bridges, spanning across time, stretching across memory, linking heart to heart, in silence. And now the dream deepens once more. The presence fades gently into mist, but the warmth remains, connection remains, and with it, a soft question forms in your mind, barely spoken. What else does sleep remember? What do you forget? You are still asleep, still floating, but now the world around you grows quiet again. The bridge fades behind you, and the forest begins. It is not a forest made of trees, but of thoughts, soft and mossy, quiet and wild. Each thought is a branch, a leaf, a root curling deep into the dark soil of memory. As you move deeper, you realize this is the part of your mind that holds everything you almost forgot. That phone number you knew yesterday, but I can't remember now. The face of the stranger on the train. The dream from last week that slipped away before you could tell anyone. Here they are still alive, still echoing in silence. Your brain, while you sleep, wanders through this mental forest. Every night, it's called memory consolidation, the process of deciding what to keep and what to let fade. Each day, your brain gathers thousands of new experiences, but not all can stay. So during sleep, especially deep sleep, your brain revisits, replays, and gently prunes. Like a careful gardener, it tends to the ideas that matter and let the rest dissolve like mist at dawn. The hippocampus, your brain's memory librarian, is busy while you dream, pulls files from the shelves, tests their weight, read their emotional ink, then decides, keep this, let that go. And so the forest grows and changes. Old paths are overgrown. New saplings push up from the soil of thought. Some memories are turned into stories. Some are kept as feelings. Some fall like leaves, gone by morning. It's easy to fear forgetting, to think of it as failure. But here, forgetting is gentle. It is healing. It is your brain's way of making room for new laughter, new names, new ideas that haven't arrived yet. If your brain remembered everything, it would be too crowded to rest. So the forest of sleep clears the way. You may wonder, what gets remembered? What gets erased? The answer is layered in feeling. Memories tied to emotion, a joy, a fear, a longing, are more likely to be kept, not because they're louder, but because they glow with meaning. Your brain is drawn to meaning, like a moth to warm light, but even neutral memories, if repeated or rehearsed, can be stored too. This is why practice helps you learn, why repetition plants deeper roots. It is the difference between passing breeze and a well-worn trail. Some memories are stored for years, some for days, and some for a single night, flickering out before morning. But even those, the brief ones, leave traces. They may not return as facts, but as instincts, gut feelings, unexplainable knowing. This forest, it is not just a map of your past. It is your intuition, your quiet wisdom, your unseen guide. You've walked this place before, Even if you don't remember, you've wandered its trails in every dreamless hour. And here's something beautiful: the forest is alive. Even when you do nothing, your mind knows how to sort itself without your help. In sleep, your brain moves through memory, like wind through trees, soft, natural, unseen. Even traumatic memories, though often buried deep, are revisited during REM sleep, not to relive, but to soften, to process. The brain uses dreams to reshape pain, to find new endings, to quiet the thunder of something that once felt endless. This is how sleep helps you heal, by walking the paths that you're too tired to walk while awake, by lighting lanterns in the deepest, quietest parts of your forest, and whispering, "This can rest now." So tonight, as you drift deeper, let the thoughts fall like leaves. You don't need to hold on to them. Your mind already knows what matters. It knows what to keep, what to plant, what to let go. The thoughts you lose tonight are not gone. They are simply returning to the soil that made them. From there, something new will grow. And as the trees grow taller and the forest dims, you find yourself standing in a clearing, still dreaming, still safe. But something is changing. A glow ahead, not daylight, but something ancient, a feeling older than memory, older than language. And the next part of your journey begins. You are standing at the edge of a field. No sounds, no words, just stillness and a glowing sky that feels like a memory you've never had. You try to speak, but there is no need. Everything here understands you. This is the language before language, the soft code of the dreaming brain. In waking life, you use words to name things, to describe, to explain, to build stories sentence by sentence. But in sleep, you return to something older. Your mind speaks in symbols, shapes, colors, emotions, shifting scenes that blend together, like watercolor in the rain. This is how dreams speak, not in grammar, but in connection. A red door, a wide ocean, an endless staircase. These are not just images. They are metaphors your sleeping brain selects to carry a message. Science calls this image-based cognition. This is how your brain processes without words. Even when you were a baby, before you knew what sad or safe meant, you felt those things. The warm arm of a parent, the brightness of a familiar face, the silence that followed a loud sound. These were your first understandings, before speech, before the reason, and they still live within you. During REM sleep, the dreaming stage, your brain lights up in vivid, curious ways. The visual cortex becomes active, painting scenes in your mind's eye. The amygdala, seat of emotion, colors these scenes with feeling, fear, wonder, joy. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, becomes quieter. It steps aside. It lets imagination lead. This is why dreams often feel strange, unreal, and yet emotionally powerful. They don't need to make sense in the way a sentence does. They just need to resonate, to mirror something hidden, and your brain understands, not through thought, but through recognition. Have you ever woken from a dream and felt a truth you couldn't explain? That's the dreaming brain at work, sending signals in a deeper language, a language made not of words, but of presence, a room you've never seen, that feels like home, person you don't know, who understands you completely. Some researchers believe dreams help your brain simulate experiences, solve problems, or rehearse emotional responses in a safe space. It's like running a quiet program in the background. While your body rests, think of your dreams as stories written by your subconscious, not to confuse you, but to help you feel through something too complex for plain language. It's the brain's way of whispering, pay attention to this shape, this light, this place, even if you don't understand why. Some scientists call this emotional memory reprocessing, but you might call it something simpler, inner wisdom. Your dreams are not nonsense. They are your brain making sense, without needing to explain itself. And that's okay. Not everything true needs to be named. So here in this field of dreaming, you rest. You stop trying to interpret. You just listen, feel, watch. A bird circles overhead. Its wings never flap, but it floats perfectly still, carried by air you can't see. This, too, is a kind of communication. You walk forward. Each step is soft, each moment unfolding like a page. In the distance, a shape forms, a tower made of glass and light. You don't question it. You simply know. You are meant to go there. This knowing without knowing. It is a gift of sleep. It teaches you to trust the parts of yourself that doesn't speak out loud, the parts that sense and feel, and a guide. Even your waking creativity, it is rooted in this silent place. Musicians hear melodies in their dreams. Inventors solve puzzles while asleep. Writers wake with stories they didn't plan to write. That's because sleep unlocks the intuitive mind, the mind that paints instead of writing. So if you've ever felt like your best ideas come not from thinking hard, but from quiet moments, you are right. The dreaming brain is always with you. It does not need to be forced, only heard. Tonight, you return to that place where symbols speak, where a wave can mean release, a key can mean permission, a mountain can mean strength. You don't need to explain, just rest, and let the images carry you, like a boat down a silent river. And ahead, beyond the dream, you sense another realm, a layer beneath even the dreaming self. Not thoughts, not symbols, but pure sensation, breath, warmth, stillness, the place where the body and brain begin to dissolve into one quiet rhythm. You move toward it, carried by a deep, slow current, and as the dream fades, a question rises softly, like a tide. What happens to the body when the self disappears? You are no longer standing. You are floating, held gently in the arms of something ancient, something that knows exactly what to do. This is the place beyond thought, beyond dreaming, where your body at last becomes the guide. You feel it begin, not as a sound or a vision, but as a soft hum inside your chest, a rhythm, a slowing, a letting go. Your heart, that tireless keeper of time, begins to beat more slowly, more deeply, each beat a drum in a vast, quiet room. Each pulse, a reminder, you are still here, and you are safe. Sleep begins not all at once, but in gentle waves. You pass through stages, like dipping slowly into deeper waters. Science calls them NREM and REM, two kinds of sleep. They dance in cycles throughout the night. The first stage is light. You drift. Your breath slows. Your muscles soften. You are still aware, but just barely. In this place, even your thoughts begin to lose their edges, blurring into fragments of image and sound. Then deeper, into stage 2, where your brain begins to create soft bursts of electrical activity, called sleep spindles and K-complexes. They sound technical, but what they really are, it is protection. These quiet bursts shield your brain from outside noise, so nothing startles you back awake. It's like your mind is drawing the curtains to let you stay inside. Then comes stage 3, also called slow wave sleep. Here, your brainwaves grow large and slow, like the ocean swells in moonlight. Your body begins its truest work: cell repair, immune strengthening, memory filing, hormone balancing, all without your help, all without you needing to ask. Your temperature drops, your muscles become still, your brain clears out waste. Through the glymphatic system, a quiet rinse, like tidewater cleaning a reef. It happens every night, and you don't even know it's happening, because you are in the deep body now, the resting, repairing body, the part of you that remembers how to heal. After a time, the brain shifts again. It moves into REM sleep, the rapid eye movement stage. This is when you dream. Your eyes flicker beneath closed lids. Your breathing becomes shallower. Your brain becomes active, but your body remains still. Paradox, but a perfect one. Your body is paralyzed during REM, so that you can travel freely through your dreams, without moving your limbs. Even in this, the body protects you. Every night, these stages cycle in 90-minute rhythms. Light sleep, deep sleep, REM, over and over, like tides on a shore. You never truly leave. Each cycle takes you deeper into healing. Your body, like an orchestra, moves in coordinated silence. The conductor is your brain, but the music is made in your heart, lungs, blood, and bones. There are tiny messengers working right now. Hormones like melatonin, telling the body, it's time to rest, and later growth hormone, whispering, it's time to repair. None of this requires your willpower. You don't need to think, or try, or solve it. You just have to be, to let go, to allow. Even your immune system rises in strength during sleep. White blood cells circulate, repairing what you cannot see. Infections fade. Inflammation cools. The quiet repairs continue. This is not the sleep of escape. This is the sleep of creation. Tonight, your heart slows not from fear, but from trust. Your body is not shutting down. It's tuning up, clearing the day's static, washing your neurons clean, resetting the chemistry of your joy and calm. Sleep scientists often say, sleep is not passive. It is an active recovery. That's what you are doing now, or rather what your body is doing, with gentle, tireless grace. It knows what it's doing. It always has. You breathe in, feel the soft weight of your ribs rise. You breathe out, and the tension slips from your chest like fog. Even your breath has changed. You are no longer in charge of it. It moves on its own, steady and rhythmic, like waves. It is not a breath of alertness, but a breath of surrender. There is no urgency here, no effort, only rhythm, only rest. And as you lie here, still and open, you feel how many things are working just to keep you whole. You are not drifting away. You are returning to the rhythm that built you. There is no need to understand it all. No need to chase sleep. Just stay with the breath, with a heartbeat, with the soft pull of gravity beneath you. You are here, and you are healing. And just as your body knows how to restore itself, so too does it know how to let go. Ahead, in the next chapter, we will follow the breath into something even deeper. Not the brain, not the body, but the space between, the stillness that connects them. There is a space inside you that has no edges, no weight, no sound. It is not a place you can touch, but you've always known it. It is the still point. You feel it now, not as something you enter, but as something that was waiting, just beneath the rhythm of your breath. This stillness doesn't ask for anything. It doesn't need fixing. It doesn't rush. It is only welcome. At the surface of life, you are often in motion, doing, solving, reaching, holding. But here, in the soft folds of sleep, you return to something quieter, something deeper, than thought or sensation. Your body is already resting. Your brain is cycling through the sacred architecture of sleep. But this still point, is something else. It is the center between cycles, the pause between breaths, the hush after an exhale, before the next inhale begins. It is the purest kind of peace. Some scientists say that deep sleep is like a gentle coma, a neural state where the self dissolves, where awareness softens into silence. But you don't need science right now. You need only this feeling, the sense of being held by something so calm, it doesn't need a name. This is where the mind no longer leads and the body no longer carries. This is the place where your soul simply floats, where dreams rise like mist, but even the dreams feel no urgency. Everything is allowed here, even nothing. There is a reason the body seeks this state. In the stillness, inflammation quiets, stress hormones vanish, blood pressure drops, like leaves falling in slow motion. Your brain's chatter has faded to whispers, and beneath even that, there is silence. In meditation, they call this the inner sanctuary. In neuroscience, it is the theta bridge, a liminal rhythm between wake and REM. But here, it is just a room with no walls, a place with no clocks, no names, no labels, only being. You stay here for a while, not because you're trying, but because you're finally not trying to sleep, not trying to understand, not trying to be better, or do more, or fix anything. You are not trying at all, and that is what allows you to fully arrive. What a strange kindness, that doing nothing can restore so much. This is the wisdom of the body and the gift of sleep. You've traveled far tonight, across memory and thought, across heartbeat and hormone, across starlight and silence. Now you are at the center of the wheel, the part that never spins, the still point, and from here, everything can begin again, slowly, gently, without noise. So tonight, let the night carry you. Let the silence cradle your thoughts. Like feathers in the wind, there is nothing more to understand. You have arrived in the place where science and stillness hold hands. Your breathing has softened. Your muscles forgot their burdens. Your mind is quiet and your body is whole. What remains is peace. And peace, as it turns out, I was always here, waiting inside you. And now, let your breath guide you to the horizon of dreams. Let your heartbeat echo with quiet joy. You have wandered the map of the mind and body and found your way home to stillness. If this story carried you closer to rest, know that more journeys wait in the stars above. But tonight, you need not go anywhere. You are already there. Sleep well, traveler. The star that forgot to shine now glows quietly within you. Good night.